Good morning. So good to see you on this brisk March morning. Take in the clarity of the blue sky. Take in the warmth of the nourishing sun. Take in the release of the wind. It's a gorgeous New England morning. Holy is this time together, precious the sharing of our lives. Take in this hour and rest from the tumult of your lives. Let the love of the community nourish you. Let it come to a place where ease of being comes in this very, very tumultuous time. Let the peace of that ease have a time in your life right now, in your body right now, in this gathering right now, together with one another. It's good to be together. Let's sing hymn number 128, For All That Is Our Life. We will rise as you are able, and please do keep your masks on as we sing.
Welcome to First Parish in Milton, either in person or virtually. I'm Tom Kemp, and I am a member of our worship committee. We're so glad that you've chosen to be here with us this morning, or to join us virtually. However you journey, whatever your heritage, and whomever you love, you are welcome here. Your presence here on Sunday morning enriches worship for everyone. And this sanctuary is made holy by your presence. If you are joining us for the first time, a special welcome. And if you're here, you will find information about First Parish in your pew. And I would be happy to answer any questions you might have. The work of living our faith is done both in and out of worship. So I call your attention to the printed announcements in your order of worship. Take a look, and I wanted to point out two things in particular, actually three. Next Saturday, March 19th at 7 p.m., will be the first live concert in almost 2 years from Milton Community Concerts. Bravo. Well done. This benefit concert will raise money for Renewal House and features the talented singers from Opera on Tap in Boston. The program, which honors Women's History Month, is called The Heart of a Woman. Masks are required for all audience members, but visit miltoncommunityconcerts.com for more information. And for those of you here, there's a lot more information in your order of worship. The Racial Justice Focus Group invites all to join them in the study of this UU report, Widening the Circle of Concern. It'll help us deepen our understanding of racial justice work. And this committee will be meeting on the fourth Wednesday of every month. Right? Yeah. Okay. And in your order of service at the very end, I just wanted to have people just pay a little bit of attention to, we're changing the COVID protocols, as everybody is on a weekly basis. And we want to respectfully remind everyone to please stay home if you are feeling sick or have even mild symptoms of illness. And for the sake of the community, if you test positive for COVID within 5 days after attending a worship service or other church event, we request that you inform the office. If you're here in the meeting house, you notice you didn't have to sign in today when you came, so that's a change as well. Now, and now is the time when we can greet each other. Still staying within your pews, but greet each other as warmly as you can possibly do.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi, Lynn.
How are you?
Hi,
Hello.
Carl.
Hi, guys.
Hi,
And
India.
I'll also say, for those people on Zoom,
Nice to see
open up the
everyone.
gallery view
Yes,
so
great to
the
see
other
everybody.
people on Zoom can see you, if you dress for the occasion.
There's Dan in the background.
Hello.
Hey, happy birthday, Walt.
Oh,
Happy birthday, Walt.
I think I'll put that.
Happy birthday.
Hi,
happy
Deb.
birthday to you. Happy
Happy
birthday.
birthday
And,
to you.
as we enter into
Happy
worship,
Happy
Birthday
birthday,
just take a
dear
moment
Walt.
and
Happy
Happy
birthday
birthday
to you.
to you.
Hi, Deb.
Hi,
now is the
See you.
moment
Are
when
you
we can
doing
focus
okay?
on being
I'm in the
here.
hospital.
I
When we
see
can let
that.
go of our worries, our
But it's
good to
thoughts,
see
our
you.
lists.
Good to see
When we
you.
can choose to connect with ourselves. When we can choose to connect with the divine. When we can choose to just be present. Each Sunday, we light the chalice as a reminder that even in an increasingly unpredictable and dangerous world, the flame continues to shine. A corner of warmth and awareness where we, the members of this faith community, can find comfort, support, and connection to one another. And will you join me in the call to worship? Come, let us gather. We gather to celebrate the sacred within and among us. We come to seek spiritual growth and understanding. We strive to practice acceptance, forgiveness, and love. Together we work to build a world with justice and compassion. Come, let us gather together.
Good to go? Yeah. Okay. So, why the story of Esther today? Okay. There's a couple of reasons. It's Women's History Month. This is also one of the only 2 books in the Hebrew Bible named for a woman, the other being Ruth. It gives us a chance to lift up our connection to one of our sources. The Feast of Purim is celebrated the 16th and 17th of March this year, so we're a little early, but we're on track. The way that Purim is celebrated is that we give gifts of food and drink to our friends and family. We give to the poor. We read the whole Megillah. Megillah being the name is the word for scroll on which the book of Esther is written. And there's a celebratory dinner and party. Well, for us, we've got a few limitations this year because of COVID, so we are going to cover one of these things in worship today. So what's with the rice and pasta? For those of you who remembered, usually graggers, noisemakers, yes, thank you, are used to blot out the name of Haman. There are lots of patterns to make single graggers, or you could buy them. We're making our graggers do double duty today. We're going to collect the food, the rice and pasta, and take to food pantry. So we're not making noisemakers that you can drive your parents or family members crazy with. Yeah, for those of you who didn't, we've got a couple. So if you didn't bring a rice or pasta. Okay, excellent. Okay, and this is not just for kids. Adults are able to just shake the graggers and make lots of noise, because whenever I say Haman in the story, everyone shake your graggers, your box of rice or pasta, whatever you've got, so that his name cannot be heard. And why this is important becomes apparent in the story. Okay. There once was a rich and powerful king who ruled over the land of Persia. Ahasuerus was his name. He was a fierce soldier, but he also loved to have great feasts and to walk in his beautiful gardens, which were famous throughout the world. One day the king decided that he must have a wife. He sent for all the young girls in his vast kingdom and chose the most beautiful one. Her name was Esther. Esther was an orphan who had been living with her cousin Mordecai. He loved her as if she were his own daughter. Mordecai served the king faithfully, but he was not happy when the king chose Esther to be his wife. "Promise me you won't tell anyone that you are a Jew," he said as he kissed her goodbye. "Many people in the palace hate the Jews because we were once their enemies." "I promise," said Esther, and away she went to get ready for her wedding. Her 7 maids bathed her in precious sweet-smelling oils and brushed her hair till it shone. When Esther appeared before the king, dressed as a bride, he crowned her with a golden crown. He ordered a holiday for everyone and gave gold coins to the poor people in the city. Then he and Esther sat down with hundreds of guests to a grand wedding feast. That night, Mordecai overheard 2 royal guards plotting to harm the king. He quickly sent a message to Esther, who told the king, and the 2 men were arrested. Mordecai had saved the king's life. His name was written down in the king's book of records, but the king soon forgot all about it. Now the king's most powerful advisor was his grand vizier, Haman. Everyone had to bow low whenever Haman appeared, but Mordecai never bowed down to him. "Why don't you bow down to me?" Haman asked Mordecai one day. "I am a Jew," said Mordecai, "and Jews bow down only to God." Haman grew angrier and angrier with Mordecai. He decided to get rid of Mordecai and all the Jews living in Persia. He sat down and drew lots to find the best day to get rid of all the Jews. Then he went to the king and said, "Your Majesty, the Jews do not obey some of your laws. Why don't you get rid of them?" The king gave his royal ring of command to Haman Do what you like with him. When Mordecai heard the terrible news, he quickly sent a message to Esther. Only you can save us now. Go to the king and beg him to be merciful. Esther sent a message back. Anyone who goes to the king uninvited will be banished. Even I, the queen. You must go, Mordecai replied. Very well, said Esther. I will go to him, but first you and I must fast and pray to prepare ourselves. For 3 days and 3 nights, Esther and Mordecai ate and drank nothing. Mordecai prayed for help. Esther prayed for courage. She was very frightened, but finally Esther went to the king, who was sitting on his great golden throne. When he saw her coming before him uninvited, his face blazed with anger, and Esther fainted. Then the king remembered how much he loved her, and he leapt to his feet and took her in his arm. Esther, Esther, he cried, what is the matter? It must be something very important for you to come to me uninvited. O great king, said Esther, I have just one favor to ask. Please be my guest tomorrow at a special dinner and bring Haman with you. The king agreed. Haman was delighted and rushed home to tell his wife, guess what? I have been invited to dine with the king and queen. That will show everyone just how important I am. Oh, happy day. The only thing spoiling it is that wretched Mordecai, who refuses to bow down to me. What can I do about him? His wife replied, ask the king to banish Mordecai. Haman thought that was a good idea and planned what to say to the king. That night the king could not sleep a wink, so he sent for his book of records and had it read to him. When he heard how Mordecai had once saved his life, he asked, and what was his reward? There was no reward, your majesty, came the answer. Early the next morning, Haman came in, hoping to get the king's permission to banish Mordecai. Ah, Haman, cried the king, tell me, how can I reward a man who has served me well? Thought Haman. He must be thinking about me. Your majesty, he replied, dress him in royal robes, put him on the king's favorite horse, and lead him through the city among the cheering crowds. What a good idea, cried the king. Go and find Mordecai. See that he is dressed in splendid clothes and mounted on a fine horse. And be sure to and you yourself shall lead him through the streets. And be sure to call out as you go, this man saved the king's life. Haman had to obey, but deep down he felt bitter and ashamed. That evening after dinner, the king said to Esther, and now, my queen, what can I do to please you? I love you so much I would give you half my kingdom. Esther took a deep breath. No, your majesty, she replied, that is not what I want. She paused. Go on, said the king. You know I would give you anything. Your majesty, Esther replied, I want something far more precious. I want the lives of my people. You see, I am a Jew, and we are all to be cast out of the kingdom. By whose order? Asked the king angrily. Who would do such a terrible thing? The man sitting beside you, your majesty, said Esther. Haman. The king was horrified. Take him away and cast him out of the kingdom, never to return, he commanded. And so Haman suffered the same fate he had planned for Mordecai and all the Jews. Then the king sent for Mordecai. You will be my new grand vizier, he said. The first thing Mordecai did was to tear up Haman's order to banish the Jews. From that day on, Jews were treated like everyone else in Persia. The Jews danced and sang with joy. And to this day, a noisy, happy feast, the Feast of Purim, is held every year to remember how Queen Esther saved the lives of her people. So, when you leave today, can you please leave your boxes of pasta in the vestibule, the little seating area there, and we'll collect them and take them to the food pantry. And now, We'll sing. Ready? Let's sing our children and teachers off to their classes.
Now is the time in our service for a time of stillness. It is really an important practice that we've been doing for some time now together in community, and it really is a fullness when we share silence together. It's important as well in these tumultuous times to find a way to settle our own being, to, if we even can, beyond that, send out ease of being, so that we can make calmer choices and more loving decisions. So today when we do the stillness, I invite you, when you breathe in, to feel the breath coming in, and then to really feel the release of the breath out. And do that as you're in stillness. Breathe in, and then feel the release, how the release of tension or thoughts in your out-breath. And let's do this for a little while together in loving community. And sometimes it helps to have just a slight smile on your face. Sometimes that can help you come in to ease.
Reading this morning is The Blessing of Hope by Jan Richardson. So may we know the hope that is not just for someday, but for this day, here, now, in this moment that opens to us. Hope not made of wishes, but of substance. Hope made of sinew and muscle and bone. Hope that has breath and a beating heart. Hope that will not keep quiet and be polite. Hope that knows how to holler when it is called for. Hope that knows how to sing when there seems little cause. Hope that raises us from the dead, not someday, but this day, every day, again and again and again.
Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now I'm found. Was blind, but now I see. 'Twas grace that taught my heart to fear, and grace my fears relieved. How precious did that grace appear the hour I first believed. Through many dangers, toils, and snares, I have already come. 'Tis grace has brought me safe thus far, and grace will lead me home. The Lord has promised good to me. His word my hope secures. He will my shield and portion be as long as life endures. Yea, when this flesh and heart shall fail, and mortal life shall cease, I shall possess within the veil a life of joy and peace. Amazing grace, amazing grace, amazing grace, amazing grace.
So may we know the hope that is not just for someday, writes Jan Richardson, but for this day, here, now, in this moment that opens to us. This is the stuff of faith. This is the abiding that can get us through times that feel too large to carry on our own. This is the footing in unease, the strength to navigate suffering, the willingness to push through helplessness. Hope not made of wishes, but of substance. Hope made of sinew and muscle and bone. Hope that has breath and a beating heart. The challenges against hope seem unending these days, don't they? Hope for humanity, hope for our survival, hope for a just and healthy world. We cannot take it all on, yet we cannot deny it. The sorrow, the struggle, the madness, the enormity, the exhaustion. Along with the claiming of life, the strength, the deeper seeing of systems to dismantle, the insistence on connection, on shared wisdom, on keeping on, keeping on. I decided to take a break from writing on Friday and ride my bike to the grocery store to pick up, among other things, some noise-making macaroni boxes for this morning's story for all ages. Very near where I locked my bike at the Dorchester Star Market, a man was sitting on a bench, I'd say 5 to 10 years my senior, watching the parking lot comings and goings. He welcomed my arrival, and we chatted while I locked the bike. After shopping, he was still hanging out. I commented on how I couldn't fit another thing in my backpack. Prices are high, he said. There's a war going on, I said. And we spoke of the absurdity of humans choosing war. He switched topics a bit and said, you know, popes and priests and ministers have one job and one job only. I thought it best not to identify my vocation at the moment. To tell people how to behave like him, pointing upwards. Now, as a Unitarian Universalist, I feel very comfortable translating God imagery. Essence of life, harmony of being, ultimate mystery. That way I can tap into my connection so that I can stay in the conversation. He went on, we've got to listen to each other, he said, checking out my interest as he continued. You can't tell me you know, because you haven't heard my story. We've got to pay attention to each other, because I may learn something from you that I don't know. My opinion might change because of what you tell me. We're changed by each real encounter, I chimed in. That's right, he said. And we had a shared silence together. Two strangers of very different worlds, connecting an aspiration for peace, for reasonable living, for finding our way like that. The muscle and bone of hope. Faith is given many definitions and touches us each in uniquely personal ways. It's what compels us to trust in the next moment, to find meaning in our random lives, to believe in our relationship to life. Faith is what cannot be proved but remains real to us. It's a sense of truth that is resilient with doubt and open to the broadening of experience. It's a home base, a confidence in the ground of being. James Luther Adams, 20th century Unitarian theologian, offers this. The question concerning faith is not, shall I be a person of faith? The proper question is, rather, which faith is mine? For whether a person craves prestige, wealth, security, or amusement, whether one lives for country, for science, for God, or for plunder, she knows that she has faith. He shows that he has confidence in something. This harkens back to the 19th century with Ralph Waldo Emerson, another Unitarian forebear who urges paying attention to what faith we live by. A person will worship something, have no doubt, he said. That which dominates our imaginations and our thoughts will determine our lives and our character. Therefore, it behooves us, he reminds us, to be careful of what we worship. For what we are worshiping, we are becoming. And one of the things we fall back on in most cultures throughout the world, one of the things we worship is aggression, power over, war. The Russian invasion is a present example of a human tendency, a human addiction, an ingrained paradigm of violence. There may be no more significant responsibility and challenge, writes Betty Reardon, than the engagement of learners in the search for a new paradigm of peace to replace the present paradigm of war, which limits all thinking and determines our culture. We're now seeing in news coverage the ravaging of war. We've seen this many times before, and the coverage even has been varied in this country toward invasions and migrations, depending on the people threatened, which is important to notice. But right now, this horrific invasion of Ukraine is the center of international attention. The deaths of civilians and soldiers, whole families, orphaned children, destruction of land and infrastructure, betrayed trust, the torment of revenge, the anguish of hatred, the loss of dreams, the malice of lies. The cost of war seeps into our senses and motivations until we cease to recognize the logic of violence that pervades us. We teach the fallacy that aggression can create healthy conclusions and perpetuate the inane logic that belligerence inspires respect and awe. We humans convey the message that we can judge a person's worth and choose to disregard one's life. This is the most terrible cost of war, for it takes us away from our own truth, which is dignity of life, power of love, grace of compassionate wisdom, and strength of mutual worth. On the 5th day of the invasion, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky claimed that mutual worth. "We are giving our lives for the right to be equal," he said to the European Union. "Prove that you are with us and will not let us go." In another video call to European leaders, he warned them that this might be the last time they saw him alive. "Hope that will not keep quiet and be polite," says Jan Richardson. "Hope that knows how to holler when it is called for." With the expansion of world community comes a multiplicity that can challenge one's very core. With the increased technology and ability to destroy life comes increased responsibility to that life. With the ever bolder cries for freedom comes the call to learn how to live and let live. Break down the fear-based distortions of colonization, conquering nations, silencing dissent, and systems of oppression. We must identify the backlash to inherent dignity and shared humanity, however it manifests, in aggression, accumulation of wealth, demonization of being, and malicious misinformation. The challenge of this day is for people to find that their worldview is merely a part of a larger world that somehow encompasses us all. This is a very unsettling perspective for those who want to be sure, who want to be right, who want to know what to do and how to do it. In short, this is a very unsettling perspective for most of us. But the understanding of our lives as intermingling within a larger unity that no one of us can fully understand needs to gain strength. For the authoritarian tendency to claim power over others is further and further dividing the world, claiming ownership of our reality and perhaps its demise. There's a grave need for the courage of the unknown, the strength of the open heart and mind, and the claiming of a shared world. In short, there's a grave need for Unitarian Universalism to voice its good news and claim its heritage of summoning the courage to accept difference, championing freedom, and ennobling inner truth that resonates in this great and worthy world. When fundamentalism and its voice of doom was on the rise in the 19th century in this country, Universalism provided a counter-voice of hope. Universalist Olympia Brown, the first woman to be ordained as clergy with the consent of a denomination in 1850, lifted up her voice. We can never make the world safe by fighting. Every nation must learn that the people of all nations are children of God and must share the wealth of the world. You may say this is impracticable, she continues, far away, can never be accomplished, but it is the work we are appointed to do. Sometime, somehow, somewhere, we must ever teach this great lesson. As Unitarian Universalists, we have a job to do. It's not going to help if we just like the way we sound to each other. We have a responsibility to share our understanding of the glory of diversity and the interdependent web of all existence. We have a moral imperative to encourage deeper and wider love through responsibility and celebration of life. We have a gift to share, an abundance of spirit to let flow, a summoning of beauty to inspire, a hope-filled voice to lift up. So now I'm going to get a little local, because today is Commitment Sunday for First Parish in Milton, the day when we celebrate our choice to support the life of this community through our pledge of financial commitment to its operations and aspirations. Our stewardship committee, led devotedly by Dottie and Chris Pitt for many years, woo, and strengthened by the volunteer efforts of Charlie Franich, Mark Ostrin, and Eric Miller. And any of you that are here, please rise for a minute so that we can say hey and thank you for all your wonderful work. They have beautifully articulated the worth and wonder of supporting this life-giving community. We've weathered much together and deepened in wisdom because of each other. We encourage the lifting of voices in the practice of a just and healthy world. We bring each other meals and comfort. We share each other's wisdom. We challenge each other to see more and more of the world that we can touch. Now, we cannot do this alone, of course, but we can add, strengthen, and inspire a deeper and wider aspiration of a vibrant world for all. Stewardship, by definition, is the responsible overseeing and protection of something considered worth caring for and preserving. This community is definitely worth caring for and preserving. And today we are claiming this good community, the bounty of our resources, the worth of our gatherings. There is so much that we can be together, so many ways we can grow together, so much we can learn from one another and give to the world. What we can create together gives meaning, not only to our lives, but to all whom we encounter in our days. It is the bone and sinew of hope. When we lift up our voices and actions together, we co-create a model of the world we want for ourselves and for our children. So if you have not yet pledged, any amount will help us build a community that can speak to the world that we want to see, that we want to have come alive. There are paper forms available and an easy way to pledge online. Contact any of the stewardship committee or the office with your pledge of financial commitment for the next fiscal year. And we ask you to do it today if you haven't, because we're putting the operating budget together and we need to know what resources we have, how to plan the next year. And yes, folk have rallied to make Chris Pitt's wonderful chocolate sauce to be delivered to those who pledge. And Dottie, where are you with the, she's got lots of bits of chocolate already. She's got little chocolate. So please do pledge, not just for the chocolate, but it's a pretty good reason, let me tell you. Your lives are praises for living. each and every one of you. Let it add more joy and confidence to this troubled world. And let us do this together. Let us be some hope for the world together. So may it be. Amen. Let's sing hymn number 122 in the gray hymnal, Sound Over All Waters. Please rise as you are able and keep your masks on as you sing. Let's join our hearts in the spirit of prayer. Let's settle in and feel the loving presence that is all about us and filling us. Holy One, beyond our full knowing, known by many names, that rise above the tumultuous times of humanity, that connects all life together. Help us feel the peace and the love. Help us know the strength that can have us make choices to beautify the world. We pray for the many who are struggling now, struggling with loss, with fear, huddled in metro stations, refugees trying to find a new place to be, leaving all behind. Relatives caring and wondering about those in Ukraine or working outside of Ukraine. May we hold them all in hope. May we send them all strength of love. and for the many here still handling the remnants and the continuation of COVID, still adjusting our lives, still wondering where we will go from here. May we hold each other in the strength of love. And we send out prayers to Chris Pitt as he works his way through rehab, and Penny Partridge and Amy Norton as well, working their ways through stages of different rehabs. And for the O'Rourke Harris family and their mourning, and for the Hart family in their hoping for Beth's recovery. I also want to lift up thanks for this community, for the incredible outpouring of the Caring Committee. Meals flying all over the town and beyond. Just amazing support and love. Amazing strength of being together. Please hold us, O Holy One, O God of many names. Help us see your work through our hands and feet, in our hearts. Amen.
Good morning to all assembled here, to everyone out there in Etherland, and to those few who may just be getting into their cars on their way to church this morning. As been mentioned on several occasions here today, today is Commitment Sunday, and I am a member of the Stewardship Committee. However, I'm not interested in talking about money at the moment, at least. Instead, I've come to think in the past few years of this day as a good day to spend a little extra time reflecting on why I'm here. Reflecting on what belonging to this community has meant to me this year, and where commitment has really shown itself to me, all as a way of renewing my faith in one another and in the purpose of our community. There have been tons of folks showing extraordinary commitment this year. I would like to focus on two in particular. Our stewardship co-chairs, Chris and Dottie Pitt. As most of you know, they've been doing this for a long time. And as most of you know, Chris has, for a number of years now, been fighting a battle with cancer that keeps recurring. and recently has had a setback that put him in the hospital and now in rehab. But Chris's commitment to this community in the face of all his health challenges has been a real inspiration to me. From his leadership on the stewardship committee to his technical expertise helping out the Aging Together group, which several of you are connected with, to his amazing performance as the organizer and auctioneer of our chocolate auction. And you probably are aware, many of you, that for the last few years, he and Dottie have been supplying people with little jars of chocolate if they make a financial commitment to First Parish. But he was not in very good condition to be making the chocolate this year, so my apologies to Chris and to all of you for our humble attempt to try to reach his standards of performance. He has just been an amazing example of keeping on to me. And Dottie has as well. I can't tell you how many committees she's involved with now. While she is helping him to keep going, she made the lion's share of the chocolate sauce for this event. What some of you may not know is that they also became grandparents again last Sunday. I called Dottie earlier in the week to try to check in about whether we could have a chat about the budget drive, and she said, "Can I call you back in half an hour? My arms are full right now." A few of you may remember that some years ago, we used to have a recognition called the Thorny Brown Award for folks who had shown a particularly strong level of commitment to First Parish. We haven't done that much in recent years, but I think whatever we decide to call it, we should renew that recognition. And if I were voting this year, I'd vote for Chris and Dottie. I have one more thing that I want to just observe with regard to the question of commitment. It's an aspect that we don't talk much about, but I think we should talk more about, and that is the responsibility and the value of saying goodbye. As most of you are probably aware, from year to year, there are families and individuals who have come to First Parish, are here for a while, and then they slowly or maybe sometimes suddenly slip out the door. And sometimes we don't hear from them for a long time. Sometimes they slip back in, and we're really pleased to see that and to hear that. But I think that we could afford to give some thought to finding some kind of a mechanism that allows folks, when they're ready to move on, to find a way to say goodbye to us. I spent 40 years as a social worker and family therapist, and I learned a lot about the critical importance of finding a way to say goodbye. And we should keep in mind that, we're all going to be going on our way elsewhere at some point. Thank you.
Thank you, Charlie. Today's offering will be dedicated to the service and ministry of First Parish. And here's how to give. If you are watching us online, there should be a text, a message on how to do this. You simply text 617-539-7576, putting only the amount that you would like to give in the text message. You don't add words, only the amount. And you'll receive an automatic text message back requesting you do a one-time setup to create an account with your credit or debit card. And for those of you here in the meeting house, if you'd like to donate by check or cash, there is an offering plate at the back of the church by the door. If you've done this previously, you just simply text the number and the amount to give. If you are proud of this church, become its advocate. And if you care about its future, share its message.
My mic on? Yeah. To join in at the end of the song, and I'll give you a little heads up, but your lyrics are right here, and they're very easy.
Paul and Silas bound in jail, had no money for to go their bail. Keep your eyes on the prize, hold on. Paul and Silas thought they were lost. Dungeon shook and the chains come off. Keep your eyes on the prize, hold on. Freedom's name is very sweet, and soon we're gonna meet. Keep your eyes on the prize, hold on. I got my hand on the gospel plow, won't take nothing for my journey now. Keep your eyes on the prize, hold on. Hold on, hold on, hold on. Keep your eyes on the prize, hold on. Only chain that a man can stand is that chain of hand on hand. Keep your eyes on the prize, hold on. Hung on aboard that big greyhound, carry the love from town to town. Keep your eyes on the prize, hold on. Hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on. Keep your eyes on the prize, hold on. Hold on. Keep your eyes on the prize, hold on. Now only thing I did was wrong, staying in the wilderness too long. Keep your eyes on the prize, hold on. The only thing we did was right, was the day we started to fight. Keep your eyes on the prize, hold on. Hold on, hold on, hold on. Keep your eyes on the prize, hold on. The only thing we did was wrong, staying in the wilderness too long. Keep your eyes on the prize, hold on. The only thing we did was right, was the day we started to fight. Keep your eyes on the prize. Hold on, hold on, hold on. Keep your eyes on the prize. Hold on, hold on, hold on. Keep your eyes on the prize. Hold on, hold on, hold on. Keep your eyes on the prize. Hold on. Ain't been to heaven, but I've been told streets up there are paved with gold.
Please join me in our unison dedication. May these gifts be transformed into strength for this faith community, into comfort, food, and shelter for those in need, and may we be transformed by generosity. And please stay upright. And join in our closing hymn, 1059 in the blue hymnal, or teal if you prefer.
And this is a song where it's a very short one, so we'll go through it 3 times. It can be around if you so choose. So we'll just sing it 3 times, and if you want to come in at a different time, you can see in the markings where to come in. Or we'll just sing it through, celebrating each other 3 times.
Trusting in a foundation of faith, love, and compassion, may we open to the challenges of the unknown with the assurance of our shared humanity and the guiding wisdom of creation's wonder.